What's up everyone, Paul from Grindhouse Funhouse, and in this video I will share with you my top 10 picks for this year's Fantasia Film Festival, which is fair to say is the best genre cinema film festival, and it happens right here in Montreal for 3 glorious weeks from July 11th to August 1st. There's 130 films to choose from for their 23rd edition of the festival. I went through the entire lineup to make my own schedule and wanted to feature 10 picks that looked very promising, plus a few honorable mentions. So here be, in no particular order, my top 10 picks for this year's Fantasia Film Festival. 27 years after a Critters movie was in a theater near us, now we get a new one with Critters Attack. There's been 4 in the series so far: Critters, Critters 2 the main course, Critters 3, which as you well know, one famous actor by the name of Leonardo DiCaprio at his film debut, and Critters 4. The Critters universe also produced an 8-episode web series released on Shudder last March that didn't leave much of an impression. Apparently with Critters Attacks, the Critters carnage will get gorier than its predecessors, so that's something to look forward to. And also everybody's favorite Dee Wallace is back after her mom role in the first Critter, playing a whole new character. I foresee cheesy good times ahead. This is getting a Blu-ray and digital release on July 23rd, but we get to see it in theaters at the Theater Hall Saturday, July 13th. Aquaslash, a Québécois water park slasher. We've really had too many of those, but seriously folks, this is a follow-up to Renaud Gauthier debut Disco Path, which premiered at Fantasia back in 2012. This time around, it's about a group of graduating high schoolers who throws an 80s themed party in an old water park that turns bloody when an unknown crazy person sets up giant razor blades into the water slides all over the park. Everyone becomes a suspect. Who shall it be? This seems like a modern cat exploitation horror film in the making. The gore we'll see throughout the film was created by the Blood Brothers, who previously worked on Turbo Kid and the French Québécois zombie film Les Affamés, and there's also the promise of a pretty kick-ass 80s soundtrack with classic Canuck hits from Honeymoon Suite and Corey Hart. This slides down at the Theater Hall Monday, July 29th. I've always enjoyed a wacky comedy or two in any Fantasia lineup, and this year's pick goes to Extraordinary. It's about a woman named Rose, a 30-something driving instructor in a rural Irish town. Her true calling, however, is that of a paranormal sensitive, being that she's the daughter of a famous dead TV medium. She's used to seeing spirits all around her and happily keeps it to herself until a washed-out rock star by the name of Christian Winter comes back to town to look for a victim to sacrifice to renew his pact with the devil and record a killer comeback album. The trailer makes it seem like quite this silly and absurdist movie, which I'm totally in for, and the rock star is played by Will Forte, which by himself gets my ass in the theater, and that theater shall be yet again Theater Hall on Tuesday, July 23rd. Part of the action section of this year's lineup, Cambodian movie The Prey. It's about an undercover Chinese cop whose mission is to bust cyber thieves in Cambodia. He sadly gets arrested and sent in a prison whose warden sells inmates as human prey to thrill-seeking witch hunters in the Cambodian jungle. The undercover cop must now survive best way he can amongst a mix of crooks and killers. This is the same team behind 2017 Jailbreak, another Cambodian action film which I saw at Fantasia, so my expectations are really high for this one. They know how to show people kicking ass and taking names. The warden is played by Vitaya Pansrigam, I hope I'm saying this right, of Only God Forgives, and he gives good villain performances, if only from Only God Forgives. So on that alone, I'm convinced that he'll do a great job here. Plus, I'm always a sucker for human hunting movies, like Surviving the Game, The Running Man, or Trespass. It's a simple story that can be done really well with the right people behind it. We'll get to find out how good a job they've done when the screening goes down at Theater Hall Saturday, July 20th. When it comes to classic 80s action series, nothing comes close to the Rambo series. While Rambo 2 and 3 revels in its cartoony, over-the-top violence, First Blood was more of a quiet take on a soldier back from Vietnam, suffering from PTSD, trying to fit back into society, but the man is not letting him. In this case, the man is played by Brian Dennehy, a local sheriff who gives him shit for no reason. John Rambo just wants to be left alone until he's pushed to the breaking point and fucks shit up good. Two great things will happen at this screening. First, we'll get to see a crisp 4K restoration of First Blood. And second, director Ted Kotcheff, a Canadian, will be in attendance for a Q&A. You'll be able to ask all the sly questions you want. This goes down at Salle Gia de Sèvres, Saturday, July 27th. The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue is a 1974 Spanish zombie movie from director Jorg Grau and Italian makeup artist Gianetto De Rossi. Went on to do great work on Lucio Fulci films like Zombie and The Beyond, and funny enough, on Rambo 3. Starring Ray Lovelock and Christina Galbo, it's about a cop chasing two hippies suspected of a series of Manson family-like murders, but what the cop doesn't know is that the real culprits are the living dead, who were brought back to life through a pesticide used by local farmers. This is another 4K restoration that we'll get to enjoy courtesy of Synapse Films, and will be hosted by Don May Jr., the owner of this fine Blu-ray restoration label. This will be at Salle Gia de Sèvres on Saturday, July 27th. With the fun experience I had last year of seeing for the first time the Kung Fu extravaganza Five Fingers of Death from the Shaw Brothers studio, this time around Fantasia shows us The Boxer's Omen, a 1983 mystical Kung Fu horror film by the master of Hong Kong horror Kue Chi Hung. It's about a man in Thailand who's there to avenge his brother who was crippled in a fight by a corrupt Thai boxer, but in the process of getting his avenging on, he gets caught up in a web of fate, Buddhism, and black magic. The makeup and special creature effects in the trailer look so fucking weird that I just want to know what they were on when they created this world, that I just gotta see it. DVD for this has been long out of print and goes for crazy money on the internets. So your best bet to see this craziness will be to show up at Salle Gia de Sèvres on Sunday, July 21st and experience the first Canadian screening of Boxer's Omen in 35mm in 36 years. In Tone Deaf, Robert Patrick of T2 fame and Fire in the Sky plays a crazy MAGA hat-wearing American getting a taste for murdering people. Sign me up! It's from director Richard Bates Jr., who last came to Fantasia back in 2014 with Suburban Gothic. Tone Deaf is about a woman who goes to the countryside to spend a quiet weekend after losing her job and having just broken up with her boyfriend. She rents a country house from an eccentric widower who struggles to hide his psychotic tendencies. It's a horror black comedy between young and old, blue state versus red state, liberal snowflakes versus MAGA hat-wearing asshole who takes it up a notch with the whole murdering people thing. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from the colorful, bloody trailer. Amanda Crew plays the main woman, and Annalyn McCord and Ray Wise, shows up as well as they have in other Bates movies. This will be shown at Theatre Hall on Friday, July 26th. When I saw the trailer for Ready or Not a few weeks back, it shot right up on top of my summer watch list, and I'm so glad Fantasia had the foresight of adding it to their lineup. Directed by Matt Beninelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, it's about a young bride as she joins her new husband's rich, eccentric family in a time-honored tradition that turns hide-and-seek into a lethal game with everyone fighting to kill the bride. So much like The Prey I spoke of earlier, it's another one of those the most dangerous game type film where this time around the bride is the prey, delivered as a sacrifice for the family's survival. Killer cast as well, Henry Chesney, Andy McDowell, Seth Cohen, Adam Brody, and Summer Weaving playing the bride. The world premiere of Ready or Not will go down at Theatre Hall Saturday, July 27th. From the directors of Goodnight Mommy, we get The Lodge, a winter set psychological horror movie shot right here in Quebec during one of our harsh winters. It's about a book author whose focus has been on extreme Christian cults. Over the course of his research, he falls in love with a woman who's the sole survivor of a sect mass suicide. Meanwhile, the author is right in the middle of a divorce which his kids are not too happy about, especially when they find out that the woman will become their new stepmom. To help things along, they decide to go to a remote lodge to celebrate Christmas together. A huge blizzard hits, and they get stuck in the lodge, and crazy, terrifying things starts happening. This seems like a snowbound slow burn that the less you know about going in, the better. I am digging the fact that it's a Hammer film production, of all things. Obviously not the same tone and vibe of their mid-50s to 70s output, but cool nonetheless. The screening goes down at Theater Hall on Wednesday, July 31st. I also have a few honorable mentions I wanted to share. The Art of Self-Defense, starring Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots, about a mild-mannered accountant who, after being attacked by a motorcycle gang, decides to take up karate in order to better protect himself. It looks very promising and darkly funny. Also, we have Master Z Hitman Legacy, a new entry in the Hitman series that looks to be kicking as much ass as the others. And also Full Contact, a classic early 90s Hong Kong action ass-kicker, directed by Ringo Lam and starring Chow Yun-fat at his prime. This was part of the lineup at the very first Fantasia back in 1996. This time around, a 35mm print will be shown to honor director Ringo Lam, who passed away last December. So that's it. Those were my picks. A great mix of horror, action, comedy, a vast array of choices that hopefully made you want to at least check one of those titles or all of my picks. Who knows? I posted the Fantasia website links to everything I've talked about in the description below. Tomorrow, Saturday, July 6th at 1 p.m. is when the tickets go on sale. You either go to Fantasia headquarters, which is at Concordia University Alumni Auditorium, the address right here, or you go on ticketpro.ca to get your tickets online, which is your best bet. Buy those tickets early because some of those films and events sell out very quickly within minutes. So yeah, you gotta be quick. So please like, share, and subscribe. Click on that tiny little bell so you'll never miss a new video from me. Also, go check out my Instagram feed at Grindhouse Funhouse, where I post on the daily. I'm on Facebook at Grindhouse Funhouse and on Twitter at Grind Funhouse. And like I said in last year's video, if you see me around the festival, come say hey. I most likely will say hey back. And on that note, I thank you very much for watching. Do enjoy this year's edition of the festival as much as I will. And I bid you adieu for now.